Welcome to This is Fitness, the podcast for the bodybuilding and all things fitness, bringing you real life version of the fitness industry from people who've lived and breathed it. We explore new trends and serious topics while dispelling myths and calling out stupidity within the fitness industry. Jimmy and Chris offer their unique insight, delivered with healthy sarcasm. Let's crush those fitness goals together. This is Fitness. And now your hosts, Jimmy Sadek and Chris Thomas.
This is episode 2 of This is Fitness. Me and my boy Jimmy. How are you, Jimmy?
Weekly recap.
I'm good, mate. I just finished the gym. Running late as usual.
Finished? You just finished from the gym?
Yeah, got it. Usually I don't train on Wednesdays, but I didn't get to train back yesterday, so I just wanted to fit that in. I've been on a roll lately, so I don't want to kind of miss really. So I just went and did a quick hour session, and now got back home in time to do the pod.
How's the operation recovery, bro?
It's going. No, it's as good as it's going to be now. The only thing I'm waiting, and it's literally just a time thing, is the feeling of my stomach to come back. So from like maybe I'd say if you look at the stomach and you think of the bottom 4 abs, those bottom 4 abs I still haven't got feeling in. So they're still numb to touch, a little bit sore, but I can't contract them. They don't act as any stabilization or anything like that. So it's just, they said it's going to come back after 12 or 14 weeks. So it's just a nerve thing, really, from where they opened it up and stitched it back together and did whatever they did. And then as soon as that is back feeling normal, I can start training core and stuff again. But in terms of day-to-day stuff and in terms of training, I still can't do like free weights or legs at all properly. I can do maybe like single leg curls or single leg extensions, but anything that like really enacts core, especially like legs, I've found is the worst. So I don't even really fuck around with legs. But everything else is pretty decent. I use all machines still.
How many weeks post-op are we?
I think 9.
Yeah. I thought I was going to say 8. But yeah.
Yeah, but like everything's good. Like I don't get like bloated. There's not like a lot of the inflammation's gone. I don't get bloated after eating. Or like I feel almost probably bigger than before the operation, which was not part of the plan. But no, everything's good.
Good. What about
what have you been doing today?
Hey?
What have you been doing today besides competitive plans?
It's that time of the season, isn't it, man? So had the shows on the weekend. Got people competing, not this weekend, the weekend after, then the weekend after, then the weekend after, and then 2 more weeks after that. So you know what it's like, bro. It's just this time of year, it bottlenecks, you know what I mean? Especially as you come into those final weeks, you know, contact with the athletes is escalated, and the amount of adjustments and assessments required is escalated too. So there's a lot more work. So, but I enjoy it. It's good.
What are you So what you're in the thick of things with the IFBB, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, and then you got like 6-7 weeks with the FMG shows.
Correct. Yeah. That's right.
How frequent or infrequent, like now, are you checking in with your clients, or how frequently are they checking in with you compared to say what they were doing at like say 10 weeks out?
Well, 10 weeks out, it's weekly all the way through, but from 20 weeks down to 10, I normally make them. I normally do mandatory Zoom or face-to-face, whatever we do, depending on the client on the fortnightly. But they've got to, on the alternate week, check in online. So it's still weekly. But at 10 weeks, it increases to weekly as a Zoom or a face-to-face point of contact. And that remains that way right through. And then you can pretty much get away with that. I mean, obviously there's more contact to and fro between you and the athlete, but in the final week, I suppose, is where it comes down to the most. You know, I don't like to preempt too far forward, depending where the athlete's sitting and depending on how we approach the peak week. So we might have a couple of days, maybe Monday through to Wednesday or something like that, that might be written the week before and not need to be changed. But pretty much after that point, assessments are pretty much daily, and the plans are written pretty much daily for the next day from that point. So I've just always done it that way, man. I've never really understood trying to blanket approach it in regards. I mean, you can kind of get it roughly right, but I still think that it needs daily. It needs daily assessment, man. So I prefer to do it that way. So that's why, obviously, in the final week, it's almost daily contact, predominantly the whole week.
Yeah, nice. And which before we go into going over the Melbourne show on the weekend, we want to jump straight into like our nutrition chat of the week, as I think it ties into what we were just talking about, like in terms of like prepping and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Training and nutrition.
The topic we wrote down when we were kind of mapping these things out was one of them was what do you find the best diet is to burn fat? So do you think there's a best diet, or is it like person specific, or have you got a favorite go-to? Like, what is it?
Yeah, once again, difficult to answer. I think everyone's different. I think obviously fundamentally it comes down to, once again, the magical energy in versus energy out formula. Some people don't manage glycogen as well as others, or efficiently, I should say, is probably a better choice of words. And in that situation, that person probably shouldn't get as many carbohydrates as someone that does. And that should be taken and assessed on an independent basis. So calories then could be extra calories that you're not using through carbohydrates, can be made up through fats and protein. So they're the variances. You know, I just like to eliminate variables with the we discussed, I don't want to be a broken record, but I like to eliminate variables with low risk or low risk to allergenic impact from foods by using whole foods. And that's something I'm pretty big on. So I hope that answers the question, Jimmy, because as I said, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule, but as I said, people definitely manage the glycogen more efficiently than others do, and some can tolerate more than others. So that needs to be taken into consideration.
Would you obviously, so it's client specific, yeah. Would see with putting together a plan or trying to work out your clients. Say we're working off 5 meals a day.
Yep.
Is there much difference in terms of I'll just say difference, blanket statement, difference, spreading the carbs out throughout the day, or carb timing them as such? For example, like a popular way to structure a diet is to make your diet carb heavy around your workout. That's a very popular one. Do you think that is better than spreading the carbs out over the 5 meals?
On a personal level, yes. But once again, the argument's always going to be from the other side. It's going to be, it shouldn't matter because it's energy in versus energy out. See the roadblock we've got here all the time? Yep. Look, can I use myself for an example here just to show you something? This will answer your question, okay? Let's say I'm eating 5 meals. This is when I was prepping. If I was eating 5 meals a day and I was training after meal 3, for example, and then I'd have 2 meals post. So 3-2 meal situation. If I would normally have carbohydrates in meal 3 for myself, okay, and then obviously post workout as well. If I remove those carbohydrates pre and put fats into there, straight away I'll get leaner. And so that was a real go-to for me. And it was like a phase that I would go, okay, well, that's the first phase for me. So it's hard for me to not believe in nutrient timing when I've seen it myself and what it can do. But there's the arguments on both sides. So um, I hope that I hope that answers your question. So yeah, that's what I used to do, Jimmy. It was simple for me. That's how I did
Because
it.
I
Pretty much all
remember
the
some of
time.
our preps, and they were very like I think more just trustworthy, or I don't want to
Yeah.
say not care, but like when you're doing like say my prep for example,
Mm,
I didn't care what I was getting given. It was just all right. What's on the sheet of paper? That's what I'm going to do. I didn't try and have an input. I
mm,
didn't push back on. Oh, could I have this instead of that? It
mm,
was like and I think the longer we worked together, I did
mm.
start to do that because I was like, hey, I like to do this better than that or whatever. But
Yeah.
especially in the initial phases of our first 2 or 3 shows, it was
Mm.
like, here's a piece of paper, just fucking do it.
Right.
And the the what I noticed back when you were first started coaching, there was like what you just said, phases to the prep. So
Correct.
there was like a reset phase.
Yep.
It was like a clean out, keto, carb free, get the insulin sensitivity high before you add it in carbs so the body can utilize the carbs when you put them in. Then it was like a preload phase, carbs went in straight before you worked out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Once
Mm.
that run its course,
Mm-hmm.
you then shifted the carbs. I think initially you moved half and half, so it was pre and post.
Mm.
Then when we really wanted to suck it down, all the carbs went to post workout. So we were
Mm-hmm.
training on protein and fats,
Mm-hmm.
but there was no carbs to burn through while we were training. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, and then finally we ended up in the backload scenario.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
and from the way that looked to me back in the day was
Mm.
the longer that my body went without carbs,
Mm.
the longer I was in a fat burning phase for the day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
So if this was just the way that I thought, and it still makes sense
Mm.
today.
Mm.
If I don't give my body any energy, my
Mm.
body's going to take energy from its fat stores. Once your body gives once you give your body energy in terms of carbs,
Mm-hmm.
it has to use those carbs up first.
Well, it's like the default player on your computer. I mean, if you press play to watch a video, the default player is going to play it. The default player is the carbohydrates. That's as soon as they're present and recognizable in the bloodstream, that's what's going to be utilized as the fuel source. But I think that when you looked at that first phase that you're talking about in that situation, it was like it was a keto phase, but it was only short. So, because once again, I want to reiterate that I'm not a specific keto person, never really have been, but there's times and places for it.
Yeah.
But that first phase, we didn't have carbohydrates in it, and that was to obviously increase sensitivity to insulin. But as a rule of thumb, we used to keep it really, really simple. And in that first phase, we'd probably, whatever the calories that that person was eating at that time when they'd come to you, we used to, off memory, I think we used to drop the carbs. We used to drop the calories about 25% in that first 2 week phase, which obviously used to create, a deficit or a 30% drop. We used to create a deficit, and also used to make a lot of change in that first period. And then those following phases that you talked about, there was no real time frame in any of those phases, right? It was basically on assessment. So they were variables. You went to that front loaded phase, then you had the next one. There were times where a person would just keep moving and keep progressing so much in the second part of that nutritional phase that you never needed to go to the backloaded phase or the post-workout phase. And you were one of those people too. One of the phases you killed it, and then basically, which can't remember off memory which one it was back then.
It was a
Um,
preload.
it was, wasn't it? That's what
Yeah,
I thought.
you kept increasing the food, increasing the food, increasing the food.
Right. So you'd come every week, and I remember it clearly. You'd go on the double whammy, and I'm going double whammy. Okay, so uh we want increase in body weight and loss in body fat.
Yeah.
That was it, wasn't it? The double whammy. Is that what you said? Yeah.
But
So
it's just interesting. So like
Yeah.
Like we said a million times, you can do things a million different ways, but you can
Yeah.
maximize certain things with certain individuals based on the timing of nutrients and the actual phase that you want to be in.
Yeah.
And I felt that preload type phase very early in a prep too. It
Mm.
really like put some like oomph behind your workouts because you're just fully loaded, and because
Of
you've done
course.
the reset that and got really sensitive to insulin. Those
Yeah.
carbs went to the right spot and were utilized like really efficiently while you worked out.
Yeah. So, but like, so we were doing this a while back, right? And I mean, obviously people just used to just do, right? The thing now, like if you, I'm not saying people don't do it. There are still a lot of disciplined people out there, but this is the funny thing. Like, I mean, you turn to someone and said, "Hey, listen, you got to cut your calories for 2 weeks and, have no carbohydrates." The average person just wouldn't want to do that. They've just become weak. Like the average person can't even eat food like normal food without calling it a diet. It's quite remarkable how much the mentality towards this has regressed. I don't know, man. I used to get a plan back then, Jimmy. I used to get a plan and look at it and then rub my hands together because it was something different. I used to
Yeah.
look at difference as the opportunity to change. That was the biggest thing. And now it's like, oh my God, what are you going to do? You're going to remove my Exo Crunch. What am I going to do? I can't have cereal. I mean, dude, I never ate cereal. Like cereal's just processed crap. Simple as that. Go on, flame me. Don't care. It's just what it is.
Mm.
You know, Question for you, if you want to flame me, have a look at the ingredients of rice on the label. Tell me how many ingredients in the rice are, and then look at the label on the cereal and tell me how many ingredients in there. Then go one step further and tell me how many of those ingredients that are in the cereal you actually don't know what the fuck they are. There you
Yep.
go. So, segue.
Bodybuilding news.
Segue. All right. Did you have any competitors in Melbourne?
I did. I had Elise, God bless her. She did really well. Did masters figure and novice and picked up podiums in both of them. So really wrapped with her.
You point her out
So
when we get to her.
yeah. But yeah, man, that was it. It was a pretty easy weekend for me. And then this weekend's pretty cruisy too. And then the Queensland's returns to the Gold Coast, Jimmy.
Oh wow.
The Gold Coast again.
Fantastic.
Thank God, I love the Gold Coast for these shows. Remember, it was like a
Yes.
thing for us.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
that like they were the fun shows.
Yeah,
But a show in Queensland should be at Gold Coast, like especially if they want people to travel in,
yeah.
or it's where it's supposed to be.
I did when I used to compete, and then you did too, because we did heaps of Gold Coast shows together and that, right? We just used to look forward to it, man. We'd get the same apartment. You'd make a weekend of it or a week of it or whatever it was. You'd go to the coast. You do the show. You do the last part of the prep on the coast on the ocean. When you're struggling, and then afterwards you'd have just all the choices of food and the ocean and everything there. It's such a yeah. I'm really glad they're back at the coast. There you go.
No, that's good. What what venue is it at?
You know what? Forgive me. I got no idea. It'll be on here. It's a new one. I think it's Robina. I stand corrected if I'm not right. Let's have a look.
And I look up here. We'll click
There
on
we
it.
go.
Glow Auditorium.
Right, yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's Robina. So someone correct me if I'm not right, but I think I am. Yeah.
Are you coming to Sydney?
Yes.
Are you up?
I've already booked everything. Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same place.
We've got dinner. We've got dinner the night before.
Yeah.
All right, back to Melbourne.
Yep.
I might as well start with the girls. All right. Actually, we'll start with the boys. That way it's in order.
Yep.
All right. The board shorts. We'll just go into the open and the overall.
Yep.
For the physique and the classic, and then we'll touch on a few others for the bodybuilding because
100%.
all of what I'm into really. Once we get to the national show, I think the quality will be across the board ridiculous. The quality of the Melbourne show was better than season A, I thought, across the board. And I'm thinking that season C will be better than A across the board this year. I think everyone had a kind of like a hiatus
Mm.
at the beginning of the year. So this will be a way more quality season in terms of physiques on stage. All right, do you know the men's physique open winner Barley Singh? By chance, have you seen him online?
No,
Neither
no.
have I, but he has the tiniest waist I've seen.
Yeah.
So he'll be no doubt a front runner for Melbourne, for national. Sorry.
So he won the overall,
He
obviously.
won the
This is
overall.
where
Yep.
you're going now. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's about a 28-inch waist.
Yeah. And with physique, because it's all illusion, man. Like it all starts at the waist.
Of course. Yeah.
Like his condition's good too. Another 3 or 4 weeks of dieting, that's gonna be really crisp.
Mm. Mm.
We have the classic winner,
Yep.
Geordie, same as last. He won the classic last year as
He
well.
did. He did.
Yep. So he won the Australian. He won the Australian title in his class last year. He came second or third in the overall for classic.
Right. Yeah.
So he won the Melbourne's last time he competed, which was last year or the year before, and he won the Australian title. So he's just gone back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll no doubt be running for his pro card this year. Because a few of the heavy hitters, because it was close last year and the year before, I don't think those guys, the guys who came second and third, are competing this year. So it's going to be it's going to be a big it's going to be a big opportunity for whoever rocks up in shape at nationals.
Mm. Mm.
All right, what are we on now? Okay, Masters.
Yep.
This is your category. This is actually our category.
Yeah, look at it. Hey,
Oldest.
I'm actually a grandmaster now. Can you believe it? If they still have that category?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So that means that Harry Vlahos didn't compete this year. Who's competed the last 10 years in a row?
I was going to say he's taken it out every year for a decade for sure. Yeah. Yeah. He did do
season A.
He did do season A though, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Good condition, this fella.
Yeah.
He'll be back in nationals, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, we got novice. This means it's not their first show, but they've not won a show before. Fuck, there's some quality.
True novice, I think, means that it's their first show, isn't it?
Okay, so true novice is like first timers. So this is their first show. There's some good rigs for first show.
100%. Yeah.
Andrew Van Newkirk.
Yep.
That out?
Yep.
All right. Lightweight. What is lightweight? Lightweight's what, under 70?
Oh, do you know what? I don't know. They've changed all the terminology. It's either under 70 or under 80. So
I think
I'm going to say
under 70.
I'm going to say under 70 here, but we'll see in a second. Probably when you go to the next lot.
Yep. Yeah. By the looks of it, Ben, he was just harder across the board.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger too. He looked really good.
Yeah.
Middleweight. So I'm thinking middleweight, that's going to be under 80s.
Middleweight's definitely under 80s now. You said that because the next one will be light heavyweight, which is not under 90s.
Yeah.
So I think we're right. Yeah. So
Some
good physiques there too, man. You know,
dude, look at that guy's six pack.
So guy on the left, great physique over there. You know, a little bit tighter, he would have.
He's thick, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Guy in the middle, great condition. Sorry, Sonny. Yeah, good condition.
The quality's good this year, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, we've got the open light heavyweight.
Yeah, so that's your 90s. So
Jason, Nathan, and Rocky.
Yep.
Cross-straighted legs. The trend in all the categories so far is like the guy with the best legs is winning.
Yep.
Part of the legs. He's his condition's on, Chris.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Still they don't have
Impressive.
back shots and
Impressive.
stuff like that.
Impressive so far, definitely.
Well done, Jason. And we have open heavyweight.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
So you called that last week with Evie?
I did, and that's a classy physique right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, nothing else you could say about that. That's well done to Ebby. I'm sure he's going to get tighter than that still, but that's that's 100 kilos. Well, what's the cutoff, man? I think it's 102 now, isn't it? So
I
that's
think it's 102 or something now.
that's 102 and under, I think.
I still call it under 100. So like, yeah, that looks like it's a big 100 kilos.
Yeah, that it absolutely is. There's no
Super
doubt.
round delts, full chest.
Yeah.
Like his quads flare. Like I can imagine his back would just be as bubbly. So yeah,
Absolutely.
If he tightens up a little bit, like he's going to have to go against like the guys from New South Wales, Danny Schneider, that kind of thing. Like he's got another couple of weeks to tighten up and get that skin thinner and get a little bit more body fat off. And dude, he's going to give the Nationals a good nudge.
This guy's absolutely in the mix for the whole box of dice. You know, he's going to be in the top 3 in my opinion. So, provided he's got work to do still, but it's on proportions, beautiful.
All right, and we got
the big Keegs. Look at this bloke, hey.
So we're 44 feet tall, Keegan. And
nothing made me happier than to see this, man.
He's not a short fella.
Nah, nothing made me happier than to see this. You know, I coached the man for years. I call him friend, and I don't take that term lightly. He's about 6'4" or something, or 6'5", and somewhere in the 130 kilo range here. So, you know, he's got a little bit more tightening to do there as well. This is a transition, man, from WBFF or FMG as it is now to IFBB. So well done, Keegs. I actually spoke to him last night. So good on you, man.
His condition looked good. And I can imagine like being that tall, there'd be like a big internal fight going on in his head, whether to go for fullness, but then try and hold that condition, you know. Dude, he's done a good job of combining the two for sure.
He's a very hardworking and a very tenacious person, and he's stubborn as fuck. Simple as that, and that's a reason why, you know, he mate, when I met this guy back in 2013, obviously he was 6'5" or 6'4", whatever it is. He was about 95 kilos back then. So if you look at the progression of that time over those years, and that 95 kilos was him just not in comp weight. That was him just training in a gym, you know, off season. So when you look at that, there's some serious weight gain there. Yeah.
All right, we've got the females. So let's get through there. We're going to go to the pro cards. We got Aisley won the figure.
She did.
To a good proportion.
Absolutely.
On Instagram. Again, like I think the figure at Nationals is going to be stacked too. Like there's a good couple girls in every state.
Yeah,
it's going to make Nationals like wild.
Absolutely. Yep. So
where is there it is. All right, moving into wellness. We've got the wellness.
I think this will be
physique. My bad. Physique. Christy Graham. Like that's stacked as well, man. Like
that's some serious muscle.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the wellness, I'm assuming. Wellness State, Brie Bailey.
Yep.
We should put up better photos, eh? But it is what it is. All right, and then the more popular one in Melbourne, The bikini girls, it's always massive in Melbourne.
Mm.
We'll skip this through to the winner. Let's open B. Open C.
One more. There you go there.
And
There you go.
Geneve Upton. So, like, based on like looking at her,
Genevieve.
you're assuming they're going for condition this year, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
It does flip flop.
Well, it does. And I mean, we've discussed this before. There's obviously always a criteria for all categories, but if the majority of the people show up in a certain direction, it's going to influence the end result too. I mean, they're not going to turn around and go, all 5 of you too hard, but this one's too soft, so we're going to give it to the soft one. It will work that way.
Well, it looks like I'm just clicking through. I'm just clicking through a few of the photos now. Like, it looks like all the girls, all the top girls at least, had good condition.
100%. Yeah.
Where in past shows, like, you could almost say they would have almost been critiqued of being too hard.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Well, you got less than a minute up there, my friend.
Sorry, what?
You got less than a minute up there.
Yeah, true. But look, I don't mind that. I prefer all categories to be on the more conditioned side.
I agree with you, man. I think that I think the further that the competitive category is from what people can just be naturally in life, I think the better it is. So yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right, that is our. How do I stop sharing? Here we go. That is our competition review.
Training and nutrition.
I've got a topic up here. It's about training. I just want your best. I know your best. Your favorite exercise per body part, including forearms and calves.
That's a good one.
All right, so
okay.
we'll start with hamstrings.
Oh. I've been doing a lot of like a proper Harrop curl in recent years, and actually sort of mastered how to do the movement correctly. So it's something that I wish that I had learnt years earlier. I spent a lot of time trying to do RDLs and shit like that, which are great. But once I mastered doing this Harrop curl, yes, so I'm going to say that for now, based on my current experience.
I like single leg seated hamstring curl.
Single leg seated. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a seated hamstring curl. You set it up like normal, but you just do one leg at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Left, then right, right, then left. Doesn't matter. So I'm just massive on single leg movement.
Yeah.
All right, quads.
Now, is this me answering this on my own, what I think for myself, or just
your favorite? We can do what we think's best for whatever later.
Okay.
But we'll talk about. I just want your favorite movement for quads, even if it's just right now.
Right now, it's quite specific. There's a machine in our gym, and it's a Panata upright machine squat. I just think that the way it hits the quads is quite remarkable. So yes, I'm going to say that right now. Yep.
I like a single leg squat press, getting your knee all the way back to your earlobe.
Yep. Okay.
What is next? Let's go. Okay. Back.
You could probably answer this for me. Barbell rows, bent over.
Yep. My one lately is behind the neck, lat pull down.
See, let's go into that for a second. Like when I was training, like in the fucking 80s, right? There you go, show my age. We used to do behind the head lat pull downs, behind the head shoulder presses, all this sort of stuff, and we sort of got talked out of doing those things because the compromised, let's say, shoulder position that you might be put in because of doing it. But why do you like it now? Why do you like this pull down?
I only got into it because, and I don't think I've ever done it before, but when I got back into training after surgery, I couldn't use no weight.
Right.
So I just found I got a good stretch.
Yeah.
And even though I couldn't get it all the way down initially, I felt a good contraction with minimal weight. So I put no stress on my core, nothing. And then the more that I did it, I found my flexibility increased, my range of motion increased, the weight I could use increased. So now it's just been a staple. And to stop me from trying to go too heavy on it, I always use it in a superset sequence.
So the key isn't that this going too heavy. You know what? Not going too heavy is something beautiful that age does to you naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. And why I've kept it in two is because like I've never had a good back double bicep pose.
Right.
Like I've got a wide back, but it's very shallow.
Right.
And I feel my back.
Yep.
I feel the contraction real good with that movement. So that's where I'm at the moment with back. Shoulders.
Standing military press.
Fuck that. Way too much. I swear to fuck, I'm the laziest trainer. I've turned into the laziest trainer. I'll tell you my one. Standing side raises, but don't just stop here. Standing side raises going all the way up.
Right.
All the way up. Again, can't use heavy weight.
Yep.
But like, and I've always had decent shoulders. I feel my shoulders like are looking as good as they've ever looked. And I do that movement twice a week. I'll either do it when I start chest, like I might superset that into a pec deck or whatever, and then I'll always incorporate it in my shoulder workout.
Okay. Well, it's good.
The thought of fucking standing up and lifting something above your head, what the fuck's wrong with you? All right, chest.
It's tough.
Chest it.
I'm going to offer two here. Only reason because I really like both of them equally at the moment, and probably because of the parameters that I've got with just certain injuries and stuff. I'm going to say dips proper, and also I like to do. I don't like flat benching at all, so probably I like a decline bench. So dips or a decline bench. Yeah.
Yep. Look, I'd say of all time, I can't do that at the moment. It'll be incline dumbbell press.
Yeah.
But
when you can dumbbell press 80 kilos, that would be a nice movement for you. Hey,
that used to be real fun, right? But like, if I thought about doing that now, I fall over.
I used to joke that your wrists were that thick. That's the reason why you could do that stuff.
100% it has something to do with joints.
Yeah, of course it is.
100%.
Yeah.
Like the dumbbells were this fucking long.
I know. Mine would have just snapped just from them wobbling.
I wonder if the gym still has them. But at the moment, there's a new gym that I'm training at up the coast. It's a hammer piece. It's an incline hammer press, but it's not the traditional one that comes out at 45. It's a higher incline, and I feel it like super high top shelf.
Yep.
And I've never used that machine before, and I'm really into it. Like again, it can't use too much weight, but you get a really good feeling from it. All right, we've done everything. Okay, biceps.
Once again, something I've only been doing probably meticulously the last probably 6 to 12 months, probably 12 months, I'd say. Reverse EZ bar reverse curl standing.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I think that it taxes on the brachialis, obviously the biceps. The one thing that I've noticed from doing this movement over that time and strengthening through that movement is I have had, touch wood, very, very minimal elbow tendonitis, and I attribute it to the strengthening of the surrounding muscles through that movement, definitely.
And do you notice when you're doing anything reverse grip, you're actually forced to really control your negative?
100%.
which that inherently
Yep.
strengthens your tendons.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine, I've got two. All-time favorite is like just standing alternate hammer curls.
Yep.
Only because I can fucking move some good weight with
Yeah.
it. I can't do it anymore. But lately, it's single arm crucifix.
Yeah.
So I used to always do them together. Now I just grab one side, and I can really get a good squeeze, good stretch. So that's what I've been doing lately. And triceps, Chris.
Close grip bench.
You are a sucker for punishment, eh?
Yeah.
Close grip bench.
Yeah. But remember you were good at that, man. Like you were close grip benching like 100.
You remember the close grip bench we used to do with the bamboo stick and the fucking
Do you remember
bamboo
that?
stick,
The rubber
two
bands?
green fucking bands
Yeah.
hanging
Yeah.
onto a 10-kilo weight plate.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Do you remember? That was a part of our
Giant
10
sets,
set
yeah.
giant sets, remember?
Yeah.
The benefit of having your own gym, right?
6.
The benefit of having your own gym where you could just set up 10.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's what I'm doing.
Triceps lately, it's fuck. What is it? It's either those new things that you hold on to, like the B strap type things.
Yeah.
So it's just a tricep press down, just holding, using those.
Yeah.
I just find that the contraction, especially, like at the lockout, is just way better than a normal rope or whatever. And I find that anything I can kind of separate.
Yeah.
Because my shoulders are wide, if I have to hold shit close, I can't really get a lockout in my triceps. So
is your grip
that B strap?
Is your grip like in neutral position when you're doing those?
Yeah, it's neutral, but it also, when it travels down to lockout, it kind of finds its own little groove.
Yeah.
So there's no set, like I don't have a set, like I want to keep it like this or I want to keep it like that.
So are you kind of like, as through going through range, you're starting from a more neutral position?
It's always up here because I can get the full stretch in this motion. And then as it comes down, I'll just keep pressing through.
Yeah.
If I find I can, if it twists inherently, it might. If not, the more blood that I get, the less I can actually twist.
Yeah.
But
so
I just let it work.
Yeah. So you got a slight movement heading towards pronate. You're pronating through range. So nice. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So maybe you guys can try any of those exercises. And let's know how they go. But
hey, listen, you forgot one, and you're the one that should be answering this one. Oh yeah, Mr. Calves. Hey?
Oh no, I said no calves.
No, you didn't do calves.
Okay. I tell you what, and this is a new one that I've actually been doing at least once a week. Seated calf raises, single leg.
Right.
So you just get in as normal, drop one leg out, and use one leg at a time. Your contraction and the isolations for that calf is way better than two.
You put that down to the extra stabilization it takes from just using the one leg?
Yes, and I feel that the contraction that you can get on both legs is maximal, as opposed to when you're doing two leg or two calf, anything you're using both limbs, one's taking over the other, regardless, even if it's minuscule. So I find the contraction that I can hold and the stretch that I can get into with the one leg, I can focus on, and it's just more concentrated, really. And my legs really only blew up. My calves have always been big, but my legs only really blew up when I started implementing single leg movements. Like, don't get me wrong, the heavy shit's all important and whatever, but to really, the gains were really made when I started incorporating a lot of single leg shit.
Tripod Trophy Award goes to...
I thought about Tripod of the Week. Who are we going to give that award to this week?
Yeah, I've got no idea, but I think we're underprepared this week for this one.
I just didn't spend that much time online, so it was kind of like a fuckwit free zone. Off the top of my head, I don't have one.
Hmm.
Do you?
No, I haven't been online much this week at all, to be honest. Same. So,
Yeah. All right, we'll make up for it next week. We'll do a double.
all right, done. Double tripod
All right.
week.
All right, Chris.
All right,
Until
Jimmy.
next week.
All right, thank you, bro.
See you, my man. See you later, guys.
This has been This is Fitness. With over 60 combined years in the fitness world, Jimmy and Chris have walked the walk and are here to share what really works. Their passion is to explore new trends, dispel myths, and call out the stupidity within the industry. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Chris on social media at Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos and his website at alpha-ethos.com. Find Jimmy on social media at jimmysadak.designercoaching and his website at www.jimmysadak.com. See you next time on This is Fitness.